We've already gone over how success in selling images or videos online depends on being able to generate high commercial value content day in and day out. That may sound like quite a bit of a grind, but it doesn't have to be if you develop an efficient workflow, one that streamlines the steps involved to a bare minimum amount of time. That's this module's golden rule. Create an efficient workflow, one with streamlined, well-defined processes allowing more time for creativity and reducing busy work. I'm going to share with you how I've been able to do that. My workflow has worked for me for the past 15 years, allowing me to grow my portfolio to about 22,000 images and 7,000 videos, all by putting in only about 90 minutes per day, mostly in the early morning hours before I start my day job. I consider it a bit of a magic formula, and I'm going to share it with you now. Step 1 in my workflow, which takes me about 10 minutes on average, is determining what my subject of the day will be. This calls on me to use a number of the hacks we covered in the earlier modules. I look over my list of sweet spots or niches that I have a passion for, have the ability to create content for, and buyers want. As I mentioned earlier, two of the big ones here are business and technology concepts. I also spend some time looking over CNBC.com and other sites that I find to be a wealth of in-demand ideas for content. By 10 minutes, I've got my topic, and sometimes much sooner. Step 2 is envisioning the content I will create. Still images and videos, typically 2 of each, but sometimes 3 or 4 if I'm feeling really productive and efficient. How you tackle this step depends on what type of media you'll be using for the day. Photography, generative AI, imagery, vector or 3D illustration and animation, video footage. If you're envisioning a photo or video shoot that you can't conduct today, maybe you're planning out a shoot that you'll do over the weekend, and you'll process and upload your content in the days after the shoot. This is the brainstorming stage, and it typically takes me about 10 minutes. Step 3 is the big one, actually creating the content. In the prior 2 steps, we've chosen the topic and we've visualized what we want to create. Now we're doing it. You could be shooting photography or video footage in your home, outdoors, or on location. Or perhaps you're editing photos from a prior shoot, combining elements from them to create new works. You could be creating images in Photoshop, Illustrator, or 3D rendering software. Or you could be writing prompts to generate AI imagery at sites like Midjourney. Also included in this step is any processing I may need to do, correcting color or flaws, checking for potential quality issues, and more. I'll cover these steps in the next module. Usually it takes me about 40 minutes to an hour to create and/or process content for the day. Step 4 is titling and keywording. I'm following the checklist of items that go into a great title like we covered earlier. As for keywording, I may employ all the steps that we covered in our keywording module from the last section, or just some of them, based on how confident I feel about the keywords I'm coming up with. I'll look at similar high-selling content, look up synonyms, and even use ChatGPT to help in keywording. I'll cover how to do that later. All in all, I should be done keywording in about 10 minutes. Since the content I'm creating each day is typically all on the same subject, I'm only coming up with one core group of keywords that will work for all my daily content, adding a few extra words as needed based on the specifics of each image or video. That helps me keep the keywording step down to about 10 minutes. Step 5 is uploading and submitting to the best agencies. This can be done pretty quickly because on a daily basis I'm only uploading to about a half dozen or so agencies each day. As I'll cover later in the section on agencies, there are only a handful that are going to generate the bulk of your sales, and I haven't found it to be worth my time and effort to upload to the lower performing sites. We'll cover which ones these are later. This entire process should only take about 10 to 15 minutes. So there you have it, my 5-step daily workflow that I can typically complete in about 90 minutes. I may not be able to do it all at once. Sometimes, for example, I'll create some 3D renders that may take much of the day to process, and I'll wait until after my main job is complete and do my processing and uploading later in the evening. Every day can be a bit different, and that keeps the work fresh and interesting and doesn't make me feel like I'm in a rut. I've never felt burned out by the process over the course of my 15 years doing this, partly because I've expanded my toolbox by learning new skills in photography, illustration, and now generative AI. Every day is a bit of a new adventure creating and uploading content, and it's incredibly rewarding being able to earn passive income from 90 minutes of work. In the next module, I'll go more in depth on the processing steps and also cover software for creating and processing content, including many great options that are free. I'll see you there.